Hello, everyone. It should be camera action. Yeah, we're live, team. Hello, everyone. How's the energy? How's everyone doing?
Awesome,
Super
amazing.
excited.
I can't wait for this one.
Right. So I'm beyond excited. I think this is a better way to actually present all the information and the milestones that the team and the network, I would say, is better to say, was able to achieve this past quarter. More often than not, you always see in Web3 just words on a screen or like words on paper about what the team did, either on article, Medium, or Substack. But I think it's always better to hear from the team, right, of how things actually played out and to just get additional context, right? So you can expect today's session to become a norm, right, going forward, because we've been releasing quarterly reports for the last 3 quarters, if I'm not mistaken, and this is something that we'll continue to do. And it's been an interesting quarter, to say the least, right? I would say, especially during the last 2-3 weeks, turbulent slash volatile times, which make sticking to fundamentals ever more in fashion. And that's what NodeOps is sort of known for, right? And what we'll continue to do. I say performing for your users is something that never goes out of fashion, regardless of bearish or bullish markets, and that will continue to be the NodeOps approach. So today we're stoked to be joined by Sid, Naman, and Alex. They will be taking on different sections of the report to provide additional behind the scenes takeaways, milestones, and just talk you through essentially what occurred. And my role is just to simply chaperone and steer the conversation. So I think we can
Never
now.
the case, Eric. It's never the case. We know.
You're too kind.
And
You're
it's
too
good.
kind.
You had like you're gonna sprinkle dust of awesomeness in the call, I'm sure.
You guys are like the yeah. I'm just like piloting the carriage a little bit. You guys are like just the horses raring to go. So I think we can share the screen now, and we'll get started with the letter. Right. Of course, like everything will be available. The report is currently available on NodeOps Network. If you go on the report section of the website, you can see the full 24-page PDF, and we'll be breaking it down in specific sections and dedicated posts in the next few days. So don't worry about it. There'll be plenty of coverage, but I think today's is the perfect opportunity to actually hear from the team, as to how each section and each team actually performed. So we can get started maybe with the Naman and the letter from yourself, and and then we'll get it started, and then we'll take it from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric, once again for hosting this. You're too kind to say, that you're just gonna be silent here. I know that you're gonna sprinkle a lot of things that we definitely miss overall. But yeah, good evening, everyone. It's great to be back here with all of you, builders, believers, partners who have been part of this journey from day one. Q3 wasn't just another, let go quarter as sought for us. It was the turning point of how next couple of years for NodeOps is going to look like. It was a quarter where we began from being a decentralized infrastructure provider to quickly becoming, an AI compute layer that's going to be the foundation of this new compute economy that we've been designing. When we began NodeOps, the goal was simple: make infrastructure easily accessible for node operators. But over the last few months, one thing became very clear, that the next era won't be just about running nodes. It will be about intelligence. It will be about autonomous economy. And the entire world is moving towards AI native infrastructure systems that can deploy, scale, and self optimize in real time as well. And that's where NodeOps Network is positioning itself today, where every workload, every compute, every application when built becomes part of this entire single intelligent network that auto scales, that auto optimizes based on the demand coming in as well. Um, I don't want to hype it up, but I think numbers definitely speaks for themselves. And to reach this point, we've spent the last year building each layer by layer. First was more focused towards the compute layer, where we had CPUs and GPUs been onboarded and letting anyone to run this compute layer as well. The next layer was more focused towards powering this entire AI middleware stack. And that's where today we have plethora of services out there, starting from Security Hub to AutoGen, where developers, builders can come in and interact overall as well. Right. And on top of it, now is the right time for us to introduce our own app store of sort, where anyone can come in, deploy, list their applications, and start getting wider distribution as well. Well, how did we perform? I think numbers 4.5 million revenue almost so far till date, close to 570K revenue in Q3 2025, 83,000 plus notes under management, $160 million worth of assets under management. And most importantly, with the TGE aspect, 18% of the circulating supply and close to 3% of the total supply bond, which makes us one of the most deflationary tokens in AI and compute economy. This isn't just traction. It's the backbone of what NodeOps is going to be very soon as the compute economy. Every GPU, every workload, every products that's been built out today that we run today is training the network to think, to scale, and optimize itself. And I can't wait to share all the exciting insights and updates with all of you. And great to have at least more people joining in today to shed some lights on how the last quarter looked like as well. And yeah, we're going to break it down for you. As Eric mentioned, the report is right now hosted at nodeops.network/report. And you'll find the Q3 report, which is, yeah, we've spent some time to make it a really transparent one as usual, as are our numbers, which you can track on DeFi Llama, Dune, Deep Pulse, all of these platforms to have an on-chain verifiable revenue that we have been generating so far. So all in all, an exciting quarter for sure. And we're going to break it down piece by piece to help our community members know how we performed, where we could have improved upon as well, and give a transparency report. Back to you, Eric.
Wonderfully put. You could almost be taking my role here. But I think summarizing a huge cascade of events with a keyword is very helpful, I think, for the average person. So, for example, you mentioned activation for Q2, which perfectly summarized all our efforts, and Q3 momentum. As soon as I read, by the way, guys, you have to give the kudos to Alex for doing great work and actually putting together the report and carefully summarizing everything. It's no easy feat because there's a lot that goes on at NodeOps constantly on a weekly basis. And it's just a brilliant moment to actually look back, right? And what the team was able to achieve. And this is the whole point of this session. But back to momentum, right? Because we will delve more into the specifics of the token, which, let's be honest, it's a product in itself. And the target audience, you could almost look at it as retail, which could truly be anyone, right? Could be a dev, could be anyone out there who might have a faint or intense interest into what the NodeOps network stands for and does. But we also, with AutoGen and all our other product-specific efforts that Sid will go through, implemented and embodied a more tailored approach towards builders, right? So would you be able, Naman, to shed some light as to what momentum looks like when it comes to these two different audiences, and how the network will be able to actually cater to builders out there, because they are like our engine at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the important decisions that we took internally was to make sure that we're able to adapt quickly to the product requirements and needs of consumers out there as well. And when I say momentum, it's not just about being consistent enough with working, but it's about shipping, right? That's the philosophy that we have internally, which has always been product first, revenue first, demand first, and scaling it up to an extent which can cater to like thousands of users, if not millions. And that's where the entire quarter was focused on as well, right? We started with just turning from being a node as a service provider to launching our own infrastructure. We launched our marketplace, which introduced more than 400 plus templates specifically for AI developers as well. We released Autogen, which again is our AI powered sandbox where you can not only build but test, deploy, host apps directly in a single click. And in just 24 hours of the launch, we had more than 300 developers signed up. That's what momentum is all about, where intention is to serve these 300 initial developers in the right manner to cater to all their needs initially. That tells me one thing: developers, community members today do not want complexity at all. They want simplicity, they want speed, they want control and transparency in whatever they're doing. NodeOps Network today gives them all of it. It is all powered by a very strong, fundamentally proven approach where we take UX and security at the topmost priority overall. And that's what you will see across all the products, all the releases, all the partnerships that we do as well. Everything would have a consistent, shipping and builders approach overall, right? And that's what the entire momentum definition internally has been set right now.
That's awesome. And thank you very much, Naman, for the additional context. And would you say, because this is something that I also asked you in the past, but I'd like to get some insight. I'm always opportunistic with these sessions, right? Because more often than not, when I go to, we were recently in KBW together at Denver last year, it always stands out when speaking to folks who might not know who NodeOps, like what the team does, that we were like about the metrics from the beginning, right? There wasn't like a settling in period where it's like, okay, some iterations or some adjustment to find PMF. Like you guys were, like we were able to hit the ground running from the onset and cater to user needs immediately, which essentially entails that the team had to listen to the end users and get used to iterating and implement that feedback cycle immediately from the beginning, right? Which I think is extremely instrumental and played a key factor behind the team's success and being able to garner momentum from the beginning, right? So would you say that this approach of, for example, let's use Autogen as an example, right, of listening to those 300 users at the beginning, what they have to say, their needs, if you're able to listen to them and implement their feedbacks steadily and quickly into the product, that then they can become the promoters and the ambassador for the product and scale accordingly? Like, do you think there's a blueprint that we used for the console that is applicable to new product releases, regardless of what the product specifics actually are?
Okay, taking you back to day one of our launch, right? To be honest, we never got chance to think a lot about GTM and PMF when it came to console launch, right? Day one, when we went live, within like 24 hours, we were sitting at like 120K revenue coming in with like an insane amount of deployments. And I still remember there was only 4 members who were sitting under one roof for 24 hours just to make sure that all of them who are using our platform have a frictionless experience, right? So I won't say the blueprint of console is what we can apply to all the products. Of course, each product has its own niche. But one thing for sure is, before you take that decision in terms of when to scale it up to 100K users, you need to first identify that your first 300, 400 users are absolutely satisfied with what you're offering. And that's what team is currently doing after launch of Autogen, which is making sure that whatever new features we want to introduce, we take a pause on it. We sit down with all these users. We make sure that what challenges they have been facing overall as well, what was their experience right now when using Autogen versus others. Is there something that they like? Is there something that they dislike? How do we make sure that they remain satisfied while interacting and engaging with us? All the 20 members of the team today are actually talking to these users. And that's the freedom that entire team today have, is just go, talk, get over the call, make sure that you understand what the problem statement is, bring it on the whiteboard, and we'll make sure that we're able to solve it, right? And now with Autogen finally being more stable, I think next stage is going to be introducing like insane amount of products on top of it that are powered by Autogen. And we went live with one such product, which was SafeSend, right? Where SafeSend is a simple problem statement, right? I make mistakes when I send tokens or transact with it, either on wrong network, either to a contract address, and God forbid, like we never get those back, right? Unfortunately. And this is a very silly mistake that I'm sure like there are thousands of users in crypto that have gone through this, who interact with networks every day. And if we're able to save even a single dollar with SafeSend, will be more than happy. Today, within like first 3 days of the launch of SafeSend itself, we've had around more than 100K plus to USD worth of tokens been transferred with SafeSend overall by just, I think, 200 users, if I'm not wrong, Sid. And that's insane. I'm not talking about number of users being 200 is less. What I'm saying is we've been able to save and safely send 100K worth of tokens from one user to other, powered by our tool itself, and it's completely free to use, right? And that's what Autogen was built for. If you have an idea that you believe can solve a problem for consumers, why not make sure that you're able to build it here, deploy it here, host it here without any hassles? And we'll make sure to get you scale it up, distribute it up overall as well. And yeah, that's where we are right now.
That's perfectly summed up. And there's some questions coming in actually about SafeSend and, can you make it an extension or an app? We'll probably we'll definitely address the Q&A at the end, right? But the report is long because there's a lot of work that went that we did. So next step, right? I would say anyone with a wallet or anyone in Web3 sort of experienced turbulent times in the last 10 days, and just crazy times, right? Which you're never surprised in Web3, but you just have certain events that just sort of take you back, and this was one of them. So I'm using this as an auxiliary, as an assist of where I want to take the conversation next, because everything that we launched the token, of course, TG was on the 30th of June, if I'm not mistaken, but everything is grounded in utility, right? And so it's underpinned by the optimal control theory. Node grows in unison, right, with the network, and it's sort of the common denominator of all the products found within our product suite and our stack. Is Node's first quarter, right? So Naman, before we give the word to Alex, after when we talk about partnerships, would you be able to summarize how do you think that the quarter actually played out from a token perspective, and how are you excited about what's coming next?
When it comes to talking about token as a whole, right? This time the concept and the story is completely different, because this is not just another launch where you think of, okay, I'll keep a fixed supply of 1 bill, distribute it randomly, launch it with exchanges, and then move forward with it and just not think about the actual usage of the token itself. NodeOps took the complete different approach, and it had its own pros and cons as well, right? Do you think we had a successful price discovery so far? Absolutely not, right? First 3 months are purely about distribution, incentives provided for the distribution with more exchanges. It just creates a funnel for you to make sure that people have understanding of Node as a compute economy as well, and people can understand how to use that token. And that's what the entire game plan was, right? And when I look back, we've had sleepless nights for during the TGA time, for sure, during the airdrop phase as well. The approach that we had with airdrop was completely different as compared to what you generally see. It was more around making sure that users actually use the product as well, right? So 30th of June, we went live with TG had the listings done across major exchanges as well. We did an IDO with Binance Wallet listing on Binance Alpha, KuCoin, BitGet, Mexi, and a couple of others like Kraken, Bybit Perps following up very soon. We did like good amount of trading contest with PancakeSwap team, OKX wallet team, distributed close to 8 figures worth of incentives within the first month itself to users, right? That's just humongous to see when it comes to launching at a lower market cap, lower FTV as compared to what you see out there as well, right? But intention was clear that we're not here for a short-term game to let people just come in, sell it within the first month, and you don't think about token at all. Intention was to making sure you get to realize how to use Node as a token across from utility perspective, and then think about it as a long-term holding asset that's going to drive value to you forever as the network grows, as the protocol grows. And that's what we did. Once we had an opportunity overall to look at how the markets are evolving, liquidity is flowing, we were able to do a buyback of close to 2.5 mil via revenues and burn that 3% of the total supply, which was the largest burn in AI and deepen sector, to make it like deflationary tokens since like Q1 of the launch, Q1 of the launch itself, right? And that itself was a testimonial in terms of how NodeOps is thinking in a long-term way. And rest assured, we are not just going to be introducing that mint toggle right away, right? The protocol would not mint any tokens unless and until it's absolutely necessary. That's the intention, to keep that dynamic bond, dynamic mint approach, where we are able to optimally control with what the market demands, what the protocol demands, and create an equilibrium around it. So that was the intention. And I think I would say that the actual story of Node as a token starts from now. So far, it was more around getting the liquidity flow coming in with more exchanges, partnerships, and all of it as well. Now the game starts about governance, community, revenue-driven buybacks, and burn continues to make it weekly rather than monthly or quarterly. And that's why we introduced governance overall, where I was amazed to see the partnership, the participation from all our community members on the forum, where even a simple protocol parameter definition proposal had so many members commenting and participating. They really look for it from a long-term play. And we respected that. We made sure that each one of those are addressed properly, and we rectify it. We make sure that we're able to keep the community at the topmost priority as well. And that's why PIP2 is live now for anyone to come in and vote. Very soon we'll be opening the discussion on PIP3 as well, which I'm particularly excited to hear about it, because I've spent like 6 months or more than that to actually think about onboarding the entire revenue towards protocol and growing it out as well. But before we do that, it was important to have all those foundational pieces in place, which included liquidity, which included distribution, which included governance, which would include as well the protocol to be stable, incentives to be stable as well, revenue streams to be increased as well. And now we are at that stage. Now the intent is to create a very transparent, verifiable on-chain revenue across, and that's why we got integrated across DeFi Llama, Dune, which acts as like the single source, both of them to being like on a transparent on-chain metrics for anything that you want to track. And it's done, so we're ticking those check boxes overall, and now moving towards next stage, which I'm particularly excited for Node. All I'm going to say is the journey has just begun.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. And we did a push yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or yesterday morning. Sorry, there's a lot that goes on with regards to verifiability. We're live also on DeFi Pulse. So so Deepin Pulse, apologies. And so like all the data is transparently reported. And something that you said in the last 24 hours, Naman, which is I totally agree, right, and share the same view, which is drives my fire on a daily basis to just show up and perform, is the to keep up with the level of innovation from the rest of the team, right? And that translates into, well, to me, is curiosity at a human level, and B, turns into product delivery when it comes to actually putting, your minds together and delivering, right? So everything stems from a user perspective. Like all the solutions that you see, for example, SafeSend is the latest example, right? More often than not, you happen to send a transaction. Everyone has made a mistake, either more painful or less painful, hopefully less painful. But yeah, I'm sure I've been there myself, and it's just, apologies for the French, just a pain in the ass, right? It's just not the best. So delivering a solution that is A, simple, and B, practical, is the NodeUp's approach. So using this as a segue to talk to you, Sid, about the level of relentless delivery and shipping from the team from a product standpoint, right? You have AutoGen, you have the GPU templates introduction, and just a plethora of other things that you can shed some light on. Would you be able to, just chat to us about what happened in the last 3 months from a product standpoint, and how does the product team actually sustain this level of output?
No, definitely. So, like, actually, when I was preparing for this live stream, I was just jotting down, and even preparing the report, like, was just jotting down the things which the entire team, like, devs, PD, everyone who has, contributed in this quarter, like, was, figuring out what all we have done, and generally it doesn't feel like the amount of stuff which we have done. It's just done in just 3 months. So it's generally very delightful and sometimes even scary to even figure out that, okay, we've been shipping so many things, and actually not just for the sake of it. All these shipments are based on, the user feedback which we're getting. Our ears, our eyes are always open, trying to figure out what all problems are there, which, people are actually facing right now, not just making solutions for making solutions for problems. We're actually figuring out, uh, the real problems which the community is facing, and making actually solutions. So we're taking the problem first approach rather than, solution first approach. So would love to throw some light on, what we've been working on over the quarter. So starting with the GPU offerings and templates. So right now we've gotten about 430 plus active templates, over 2200 deployments, and over 20 external contributors. Now that's a big milestone for us. Now, when we started, everything was in-house, our own templates, our own stack, our own ideas. But now the things are changing. Since we have the marketplace, live, developers are building and shaping their own ideas into products with NodeOps, like Naman mentioned. We've gone from being just a platform built by us, NodeOps, to becoming a network built by the community. Now, honestly, that's the most exciting part, seeing people use NodeOps to build things that, like, I personally have never seen or never imagined. So that's, something which is really exciting. Now, next up, we have like persistent data volume mounting for the templates which we have on our marketplaces. Now, for the tech folks, it's basically having PVC installed in the templates. Now, if I had to explain it in an easier way, earlier deployments was very temporary. If you delete or you redeploy something, like poof, your data is all gone. Now with PVC, that data sticks around. Now think of it like before NodeOps was writing data on a whiteboard, and every time you erase it, everything just wipes out. Now it's like saving your data in a notebook, and you can come back to it later, where you left off, and start from there. So that's it sounds quite small, but it's a massive change when you compare what we have in the market, what other players are also doing. And this actually helps and allows developers to build real stateful applications, which is quite exciting, I would say. Now coming to AutoGen, now that's the elephant in the room. Probably one of the most innovative things that I've personally worked upon. It's our AI powered deployment system, and within, like Naman mentioned earlier, that within 24 hours of the launch, we've had over 300 developers being signed up. Now you might think that 300 developers is a small number, but actually those are the key we didn't do much marketing initially, so that was just raw interest. That was just pure natural inclination towards what we were building. Now the idea is very, very simple right now. You tell what you want to build. You just connect your GitHub. You select the repo which you want to deploy, and Autogen just does that for you. Now, whether it be front end or back end or full stack application, no need for config files or DevOps headaches. Now, we're not just using AI for just the hype. We're actually using AI and making infrastructure actually usable and scalable to make it easier for anyone who wants to go from the ideation state to deployment state in just minutes. And honestly, Autogen came to life after a few late nights of brainstorming sessions fueled by Red Bulls and curiosity. Now we kept asking ourselves that, what if deploying apps is as easy as describing them out loud? Now we're actually working towards that. Now next in line we have Security Hub. Now security is another area that we're going all in. Security comes like it's one of the most important thing when it comes to app deployment. You want your app to be quite secure when you actually deploy. You don't want vulnerabilities to you know uh, mess up with the intention what you're doing with the uh, solution what you actually solving it for. Now with Security Hub, we will directly integrate it into your CI/CD pipeline, scanning every build before it goes live. So far it's been amazing, these stats, that so far we've run over 1700 scans and uncovered over 150,000 critical vulnerabilities, all before they hit production. Now it's one of those invisible features that saves developers a ton of pain later on. Now moving on to the DeFi use case, we have portal migration and staking hub. um, we're also deep into the DeFi portal, especially catering to crypto degens. We're bringing governance, staking, and redemption into one unified token portal. Now, it's all about making user experience simpler, one clean place where everything connects seamlessly. We're deep into cross-chain integrations and use cases like LNT Vault, where you can actually transfer your NFT for vested tokens, which you can actually trade. Now that's something that we've noticed, that since we're in this space, we need to have certain use cases for crypto degens, but apart from infrastructure. Now actually, finally coming back to the backbone of NodeOps, our deep in infra. Now we've had over 5,000 plus machines powered by 1,000 plus providers, and about 1,500 plus active machines currently in our ammunition. We've pushed over 17,000 commits, clocked over 58,000 CI minutes, continuous integration minutes, and processed more than 18 petabytes of bandwidth. I mean, trust me, it's no joke. And our validator uptime, 400K blocks processed with zero misses. Behind those numbers are actually hundreds of microservices, logs, databases, all running non-stop, maintained by a small team that I can actually count on just one hand. So it's just truly remarkable how optimized not our system is, also our team. Now, coming to the most exciting thing, personally, is our prototype sprints, short, intense bursts where small internal teams come together to build and ship new ideas quite fast. Now, these are projects like Awesome Prompts, Safe Send, and Peace of Mind, coming to life. It keeps our culture creative, fast moving, and most importantly, fun, even as our systems grow more complex in nature. Honestly, these sprints are some of the best moments in NodeOps. There have been plenty of nights where the lights in the office stayed on till morning, debugging systems, shipping features, arguing over which idea to actually prototype next. It reminded us why we started in the first place, to build tools that solve real problems which people face every day. Now, to conclude all of this, if I have to sum it all up, we're building tools that make developers' lives simpler and their solutions scalable with NodeOps, along with crypto native use cases for the degens out there. We've come a long way from, those early nights of scribbling ideas onto the whiteboard, and honestly, it still feels like day one, because the way we see it, infrastructure is only as good as the people who build and believe in it, and that's our story. So yeah, back to you, Eric.
Jesus, sounds like an election speech. It was so on point. So thank you very much, Sid. I think you gave it justice, and it was good to go milestone by milestone, right? Because the fact that it took you so long, it's symptomatic that there was a lot was achieved, right? If you would have only spoken for 1 minute, it would have meant that not a lot was achieved on the product standpoint. Something that I wanted to ask you, Naman, and probably like keep it concise if possible, right? Like from an ideation standpoint, right? When it comes to infra, because everywhere I go, you hear about infra, and to me, the ethos that NodeOps adopts is the right one, in the sense that infra should be invisible, right? Like it should just work, right? Like you shouldn't be asking yourself like what is powered, who powers who. It should just work, right? And I think we implement that ethos from the onset. So using, for example, AutoGen or SafeSend as examples, how does NodeOps approach the bootstrapping and ideation phase, right, to ensure that from the onset scale is factored in, right, to ensure that we put together initial versions, and then as we iterate, that they're able to stress test to higher volumes of traction?
Well, any infrastructure can only scale when you've actually battle tested it out end to end as well, right? And it should not be done by end users. They're not there to test out. Yesterday, one airdrop portal went live, which was like so disappointing to see that even to connect wallet and verify yourself, you literally had to try like almost 10 to 20 times. And it's frustrating. It's definitely frustrating. There's no one to blame there. But of course, efforts must be put to actually stress test it to the fullest, and not rush into it. What we rush into is prototyping sprints where a problem statement is fixed, solution needs to be ideated upon. That takes some time, and then we ship it out. It's as simple as that. We have amazing builders in the team that can. You just give them something on the whiteboard and you will have it designed, you will have it created and actually been developed within the record time itself. What's coming next is also going to be an exciting with this approach, and I can't wait to be honest for it.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Witnessing firsthand how it goes from a simple Notion page on a Friday to an actual MVP on a Sunday is pretty rare, I would say. And incredible I must say that it was also a democratic effort, in the sense that it's not just the builders coming together and either BD or marketing folks sort of being non-participating contributors. No, like everyone was part of the decision making from the onset, and then everyone sort of took on different roles. So the sprints were amazing. I look forward to the following ones. NodeOps is a network, right? And it's just like a big extended family. So the team was able to achieve great things, right, by by building relationships with technical players as well as institutional new stakeholders. So the ecosystem has never, I would say, been more robust and vibrant. So Alex, maybe apologies for the delay, but if you're able to shed some light as to how the network has grown and some of the new names that we've been able to welcome and that we are proud to call partners and collaborators.
Yeah, and I think this is actually a very realistic vibe for how it is internally. There is so much going on at vision, at token, at product level, that everything that then is built on top feels like something that we do also, but actually it's the beating heart. Because from a ecosystem standpoint, from a BD standpoint, and our BD teams, doesn't get enough glory, but they are absolutely a powerhouse as much as our engineering and our product team is. They are relentless in pursuing new partnerships and new technical partnerships, as well as ecosystem-driven joint ETMs. So this quarter in particular, I think we've seen an explosion of better quality partnerships, things that we know that they're going to be just the beginning of a long-term relationship. I can name a few, but definitely go and see the report. There is an in-depth description of all our partnerships. I will just drop some names, just also as a thank you to our partners. So from Gaianet, Hyperspace, Jensen, that's at a technical level when you're looking at our GPU and our compute ecosystem, our technical ability to get tier 1 projects with incredibly talented teams, work with us, innovate, and then make in an accessible way the technical partnership work, for the end user. Equally, from a more like a broader ecosystem standpoint, you're seeing from Bankless Ventures to CoinList, Blockchain Builders Fund. Definitely, we could just keep name dropping, but I don't want to do that. I just want to give you the vibe for how much energy actually goes into making what is a technology that is definitely useful into the hands of those that must actually use it. And that goes together with incredible marketing effort and joint co-marketing effort. Personal highlight for me, it's been branching out. Maybe it's a personal level because I am a BTC maxi, like I should come out after the shell and then just say it. But looking at our expansion into BTC5 with our partnership with Babylon, definitely a highlight of the quarter for me. But it's just one of many that will come. In that spirit, we just don't want to talk about partnership or to just showcase numbers. We want to make it experiential for people to just do things with what we are saying and what we're doing jointly. So very proud of having launched the Proof of Build tour that has already touched 2 main cities, Seoul and Singapore. Keep your eyes peeled because definitely it's going to be a staple of our just meeting people on the ground, having them on stage. You've seen so many notable speakers who have been sharing their thoughts, their thought leadership and innovation with us on stage. And we've seen that so much take up, and I already start to bridge into the thank you part that we're going to use as a wrap up, I'm sure. But our community has been, again, magnificent, from beta testers coming for AutoGen to attending our event series to our ambassadors. We have hit 250 as a number, and we are definitely expanding with a more specialized role for the ambassadors. And you will find that in the report, we have a reflection of this. In what I don't like to, you just use numbers for marketing. They are a reflection of what is happening behind the scenes. So that CD says an achievement of a good product, a good tech, a good team that actually has been able to expand and to get the word out. Overall, it does feel like us as a team, we're still the underdogs. I like the role. I like of us being, the undiscovered gem that is still, waiting to shine. We're already shining bright. I do believe firmly that we are on the top 1% of the projects out there. I am biased, I'm not going to lie, but I definitely feel that we are outperforming so many teams that instead gets way more credit or attention from, the big PR names out there. I don't want to throw any shades, but I do believe that the next quarter will open the door at a different level, even in terms of recognition. So a big thank you, and I'm just definitely going to pass on the rest of the team in this sense to look at what we're going to do next and what is going to be, our branching out into the quarter 4 with a lot of energy already. And the marketing, actually, shout out to Eric, because whatever you see on social media, again, it's top 1% in terms of quality content. I'm loving the amount of curation that we also have to do internally compared to the amount of things that actually get pushed from the product team. So keep your eyes peeled. Our treasure chest is definitely full of stuff that we will be disclosing as the next quarter progresses.
Thank you very much, Alex. And if you can actually go back on the numbers on the previous slide, right? Because like those are just not. Of course, like we appreciate the recognition, the traction, but it's a bi-directional effort in the sense that it's done in unison with the community, right? So everything we're able to achieve is as a result of you guys just staying along for the ride, right? I couldn't agree more that we're just getting started. I don't want to go into the thank you part yet, but the fact that we're in such what can I say, close proximity, I would say, with the community, because we are always doing, like, when it comes to transparency, it's not just about having, at least this is my opinion, about having your revenue numbers on Dude, right? Like, it's about actually listening to what the end user has to say and the end community member has to say. For example, during the node launch, of course, they had people, like, you can't make everyone happy, right? It's impossible when you reach that scale. So you have to listen to Sagar, Sid, Myrtle, myself. Like everyone was on the ground, so to listen to what folks had to say about like X, Y, and Z doesn't really matter, but that to me is transparency, right? As well, to actually listen to what the end user has to say and the end network participant. So what I'm about to tell you is just a perfect example. So there was a question from Mr. Block. Would use that as an assist to open the Q&A. This is for Naman, in the sense that it's asking about what's the long-term vision, right, for NodeOps as we head into the cloud/AI/compute narrative. So maybe you can use that as the outlook section, assist for the section.
Okay. I'll again try to keep it short overall. Q4 actually marks the beginning of this entire new transition towards powering AI consumer apps as well, which are ready to be served to Web3 audience as well. Our focus is going to be sharp. Our vision is going to be super clear to scale deployments, automate this via our orchestration layer, and tokenize it to make it accessible to every Web3 user out there as well. And the message that I want to give in terms of vision that we have is, we're not chasing hype. We're building the backbone here, which is fundamentally strong to serve the next generation of use cases that we're going to, and toolings that we're going to build out internally along with our contributors as well, right? And I believe that the entire concept of cloud, which you see today, is going to transition very soon. You have so many teams working towards it in their way, in a very different and unique approaches as well. And the biggest win is, this is an open democratic network, a decentralized network overall. But when it comes to what NodeOps network is going to be focused on from the cloud perspective, it's going to be a truly adaptable, truly scalable globally as well. And that's what we're becoming right now, right? It would be built by builders, it would be governed by holders, and powered by Node as an economy overall. So yeah, that's what we are heading towards as the long-term vision.
Awesome. Exciting is an understatement. By the way, hey, this is a comment from I don't know who. That's myself, and it's the link to the report. So you can access it there, and it's visible here. And just go to NodeOps Network/report and go crazy. If you have any comments, you know where to find us, both across X, Discord, and TG. We'd be more than happy to engage, talk to you, and address any insecurities or doubts you might have, right? I think we can use this with the remaining 8 minutes to take on some of the questions from the community, right? Because I think we've touched on all the points and sections. We could go for hours, right? Given the volume of stuff that was actually achieved by the team, but we'll keep it interactive. So there was a question about SafeSend, right? About a user saying, can we simplify by making it either an extension or an app? Maybe you said you can take this and also maybe use this as what's next for SafeSend for users.
I mean, for sure, like we will explore more distribution, channels of say send, and if extension is something which users prefer, for sure we can work towards that. Naman, in case if you wanted to add anything, please go ahead.
I have a question for Naman, don't worry. So here, I think this is always kind of rather philosophical, but that's okay. It's good to have these high-level questions when you're actually recapping what was achieved. Maybe we can ask it as a personal take, right? Naman, where do you think do you okay, how does NodeOps plan to scale infrastructure, right, to support the surge in demand that we have for AI workloads? I think it's clear the AI dependency and addiction that the average person has. So, yeah, how does NodeOps plan to scale infrastructure to support such surge in demand?
Okay, I think we've already found a really good solution for it, which was to split it up into like 4 different layers, as I mentioned at the start. First one was compute layer. We would have never introduced AutoGen or any form of toolings unless we had that compute layer sorted. Today, anyone can join the network by powering the compute, either by bringing their own machines or renting it from us, and just get incentivized to make sure that they remain active overall as well. The middleware layer is where the entire game changes, because you're trying to create multiple frameworks that cater to like infinite number of use cases that can be built on the third layer, which is the application layer, right? And that's where the intention is that we think about scalability across each of these levels to simplify it internally as well. And once these 3 layers are sorted, the fourth layer being a wider distribution to an end consumer overall, that's the consumer layer or the user layer overall. And yeah, that's where the focus first was to make sure that compute layer remains sorted. Today we have partnered up with more than 20 plus cloud providers. We've got individual compute providers as well that are onboarded to serve to all the needs that the other 3 layers can be asked for.
Awesome. Succinct and concise and straight to the point. That's awesome. I think there's space for like maybe another one. And don't know, Alex or Sid, if you want to take this. I'll put it here for show. It's about how's NodeOps revenue generated, and maybe you can use that as an assist as to where they can actually find a breakdown, right, of the revenue that the network actually generates.
Sid, over to you. You're the
So yeah,
numbers masters.
yeah, definitely. So I think one good source of truth would be Dune dashboard. So whatever revenue we have clocked, we have actually added to a contract where it's transparent for anyone who wants to check it out. So I would genuinely request whoever is curious about where we're getting the revenue from. So initially, mostly since we're an NAS, we have B2B integration, so we take certain commissions from the businesses which we are integrating with for integration fees, and we also have subscription revenue, which actually, like the nodes which you spin, there's a certain amount of money that you're paying to spin that. So that's one aspect of it. Then the second aspect is the marketplace, where it's still, I would say, in the pre-revenue state. It's still picking up because we're getting more integrations. We're not right now thinking of just purely monetizing it. It's more on catering to the audience, and once we see there's a good traction, then we can think of avenues of generating revenue from that. So but we still have like certain amount of like fee which we take from your listings on the product. It's mostly it comes to the contributor, but a part of service that we're providing for you to build everything. That's one aspect of it. So but I would genuinely request anyone who's interested to visit Dune. There's a smart contract mentioning all the different types of revenue or avenues of revenue that we are clocking internally, and you guys can see it for yourself, what exactly is NodeOps working towards in this aspect.
Absolutely. Yeah, I highlighted it here. It's in the comments, the link to the Dune dashboard. And as it pertain, as I said, the same thing as I said for the report link. If you guys have any kind of questions, just let us know. Like everything is reported transparently, but we'd be more than happy any member from the team or any Nodos ambassador to actually assist you with any query you might have. I think we can wrap it up because otherwise we'll be here all day asking questions from the team, from the community. I purposely didn't prepare you for this section because I want to hear your question specific, your improvised answers, both Sid, Naman, and Alex. I'll go first. Like, let's do this. So in 3 months' time, you have to look back at what your prediction is for today of how the network will be in 3 months' time. It'll be interesting to see, right, how instead of doing like a New Year resolution, we'll do it as a quarter-on-quarter comparison. So yeah, I'll give you like an extra minute to think. I'll go myself as to what I think, where we're heading. I think Autogen will open up a can of worms in the best sense of the word. I think we'll find so much discovery, right? That given the team's ability to be flexible and agile enough to cater to a varying set of audiences, will propel us into like an insane phase of discovery. Because I've seen it happen with the projects such as Replit, which I've used avidly for a number of months, and the surge in growth, and so other examples such as Lovable and Base 44, they're great products. I think where we're heading is beyond exciting, and we're just barely scratching the surface. So I think that would be my prediction. Whoever wants to go next, they can go next.
Let me go next. I think I'm just going to bridge on yours. I just want to, I hope that by the end of next quarter, Autogen in particular will be a Trojan horse for Web3 mass adoption. Because I would like for this to be a tool that will enable not just vibe coding in a vanilla way, but that makes it so easy also to then build Web3 integrations with traditional products. That will make it absolutely irrelevant whether a product has some Web3 components, some Web2 components. So I would like really for us to be working together with a lot of developers, developer communities, vibe coding schools, anyone who has any interest in as solopreneurs to build new products, to be educated and to be open-minded and also actively using the product, so that they will deploy products with Web3, even though these are not Web3 people that are developing products. So introduce Web3 by stealth by using Autogen with widespread adoption. That's my wish list for the quarter.
I mean, definitely totally aligned with what Alex has also mentioned, that, making those tech dev tools and tech stacks very seamless for, Web3 use cases, Web2 use cases, because I mean, Web3 is actually built on top of Web2 in a way. Like, you would need certain applications to be run or done off chain. So, that is where right now what problem we're solving, but eventually in the next quarter we would also be solving for making dev tools much easier and seamless for developers, not in just web 2. I would call it web 5 if you could just add that. And primarily would love to see like contributors contributing to the marketplace. I'm really excited for that. Would love to promote certain apps and personally use it too. So I think that's one of the vision which like I'm working, or we're working towards, is having these products or these apps by the community on NodeOps marketplace.
Okay, I have 1 minute, right? January 1st, 2026, my understanding so far. I'm going to put a date on that. Imagine having a supercomputer of sort as an experience, where you would actually be able to have everything that you use under one hood, be it wallets, be it tabs, be it infra, be it compute, everything that you use under one hood. and all powered by NodeOps itself. This is something that I believe we'll see 1 quarter down the line, where you would have all of these frameworks, all of these applications, all of these products been launched on our marketplace, been listed, been ready to serve, all under one hood, which we finally call it the cloud in the network overall. So that's my vision.
Awesome. One platform to rule them all. No, but jokes aside, guys, we want to thank everyone. NodeOps Network has never felt more like a family to me, and it's amazing to be part of this. Call it almost like a movement, right? Beyond just a journey. So Q3 was just another chapter in the book, and we're proud to have you with us along for Q4. As always, it's an open conversation and open communication that you can always have with the team. Like anyone and everyone is always reachable. World Talks, like everyone is here to actually deliver high quality services for all of you, right? So whether you've been here since testnet or since the console, or if you've been sort of like a passive bystander and you've seen this stream and you're now red pilled, we're more than happy to have you. And yeah, I think the last concluding point is something that you mentioned, is that chasing narratives and chasing hype will make you tired, because I would say you will never be ahead of the next cycle. So the focus from our perspective is always to just be heads down, listening to our users, and just relentlessly ship and build. That won't change. So let's see where that ethos will actually take us for the next section. It's not like you won't hear from us until January 1st, because we'll have the weekly opportunities to learn what the latest is from the NodeOps Network. But yeah, we want to thank everybody who's tuned in. It's 900 plus people who've tuned in, so amazing. Sid, Naman, Alex, if you have any concluding words, now is the time for you. Otherwise, we can wrap it up from here.
All good. Thank you, everybody.
I think we're good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
And I would say thanks,
Yeah,
Eric, for being a lovely host. That's all.
All good. Always happy to be here and moderate what's amazing. So guys, thank you very much, and until next time, it's not GM, it's G Node.